Hello. I hope that I have everything set up as normal, but technology does not like me. So, if there is an issue and you can't hear me, please let me know. I'm gonna trim some paper while we wait to see if it's working. Because of course I did not do really any prep work. Okay. So you guys, what do they even call the mats that you roll on underneath your desk? Do you know what I'm talking about? Um, like the plastic ones. Well, mine's busted. Mine's busted. And needless to say, I have not replaced it. So there's like a hole in it. So like when the wheel gets just perfect on that broken part, I get stuck. I get stuck in my rolling. So happy Wednesday. How is everybody doing today? Are we having a good week? Um it's almost half over. Almost half over. Oh, Benita from Sweden. Welcome. And also my usuals, Anne and Susan and Brandon. Brandon says his week has been crazy, crazy. Why? Is it because of your home renovations? I should no, really. Okay. Hi, Kim. This week has been, for me, it's been eventful. And we'll just leave it at that for right now. Okay, so here I have taken down some notes of the things that you guys have asked for. And one of the things, um, hi hockey. I hope well, I'm glad you made it back. She said she had to get back before the storm. So I'm glad that you made it back. I hope your mom is doing well. Hi, Lise. So I did pull out these. One of the things that you guys had requested was patriotic. And so I thought that that would be fun because last summer we had an Americana release through Honeybee. So I did pull out some things from that. And you guys know me, you know that I like to get the most bang for my buck. And so I like to look at a lot of ways that you can use older products as well. And so this big pickup truck has been around. Lisa, I'll probably have to tell you what its inception was, but it's uh, it's been around. I've used it a lot. Last year, I turned it into a shaker for Peanut's birthday card. I turned it into the tailgate into a shaker. So as you can see, my stamps are a little bit yellow, and it is because it's first of all, it's old. Second of all, I don't store my stamps in like a light, fast area. And so the more sunlight that is exposed to, and as you can see out my window, I have quite a bit of light in here, that increases over the years your chances of it turning yellow. So that's why you see my little yellows down here, but it does not change the way that they stamp. So I'm not worried about it. Now, let's talk about the patriotic part. So this is the big pickup add-on Americana. So it's got like the little buntings and balloons and bows. These are some fireworks. So I thought that it would be fun to put these together. These you can also use by them, like most of the stuff from like the add-ons. These can also be used by themselves to do really cool, cards, but we're going to combine them today. Funny, I just purchased. Oh, it was supposed to be the Americans. Don't you love when you're like auto correct totally gets you? Or worse, when you're doing like talk to text, it never pronounces what I'm saying correctly. So this obviously does have some sentiment in it. But then I have pulled out some of these little sentiment banners. Um, because I like them and I felt like it kind of matched the vibe for maybe the sentiment that we could go with. Um, so yeah, so we're gonna start stamping and go from there. Let me. So you guys, you watched the premiere on Monday where we made this little card. We made this cute little card here on Monday. Um, so can you tell that I haven't made anything since then? Because here is my sentiment set that is still, it's the same sentiment. Boop. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Let me get my big one. And I still have the stuff out. I did Father's Day cards. I sold the stuff out for that too, because I cannot be trusted to keep up after myself. All right. So that's the die. I don't want that. I want the stamp. And I did trim down some card stock. No, girl, Susan, I did not mail that card yet. And you know what? I even went to the I even went to the post office this morning. That's terrible. It's terrible. I'm terrible. Um, yeah, it's no good. Oh, Erica says it's storming in Georgia. Well, hopefully, it's not too bad. All right. So I do like to stamp this one on a like a half sheet of cardstock, because it just makes it easier since it is pretty much like A2 sized. Here, I'll show you. Like the truck is going like edge to edge here. See what I'm saying? So I do like to stamp it on a little bit bigger one for when I die cut it out. And then all of these are like the little license plates things. Like, so like, you know, best dad, like we just had Father's Day. So these could be like a little happy birthday to you. I think that's the one I used for Peanuts card. Do I have that sitting around over here? Maybe not. Maybe it's in his room. All right, so I'm gonna stamp this down here. And then we're gonna look at how I want to decorate this. It's rained every day for a week, Erica. Those weeks are such bummers, aren't they? All right, so the bunting, I do know I want. I'm a big fan of that. I think it's super cute. So maybe we'll do this one. And then do we want another? That might be too much. That might be too much. Maybe we'll just do another one of these, maybe just to like break it up. Okay, there's that. I love this bow and the balloons. Nobody's shocked by that, I am sure. Oh, Barbara has this, but has not used it yet. Good. Maybe we'll inspire you to get it out. Get it out and get it inky. And I do think I'm going to do the flag. Like kind of, yeah. I think we're going to do the flag. And then all of these little fireworks, we're going to mess around with later. I have an idea. All right. Oh, Susan, you use the dog from the fall add-on. Yeah, they have so many for this. Like, and it's all the, well, I shouldn't say all, except for my father. All the other men in my life drive trucks. So this is the truck. Melissa, the truck is still available. It is in the shop. All right. So I don't. Maybe we'll do the bow instead of this. Like put the bow in the center. I kind of like that instead of this. And then do we have two layers? Two layers of bunting? This is kind of like make your own bunting, which I do like. But for sake of ease, we'll use this one today. Okay. Oh, Cassidy, you didn't miss anything except for us talking about what we were using. All right. So now, even though I have a sticky mat down, I am going to use my little magnet. I'm going to scooch this guy down a little bit. And I think that should be Okay. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if that pulls it together enough for me or not. Okay. I keep having to move it so I don't touch this. Has this always been this close to me? I don't recall. All right. Anyway. Okay. So we're going to stamp. And to do that, you see this giant pile of stuff I have over here? You know that there's always a pile just falling over. We are going to use our Intense Black ink from Honeybee. I love a bold black outline. Oh, Tracy, those, yeah, so you've used the truck a lot, and those are all really adorable ideas. Flowers, hearts, mushrooms. I think I used it once with the spring add-on, and it had like carrots or something in it. I just think it's a good kind of neutral thing. You can color it any color you want. You can customize it. You can use it for all different kinds of holidays, birthdays, whatever. Like if you have or even if you have like a little Boy Scout or Girl Scout or whatever 4-H member, like, and they're in a parade. We have a lot of parades where I live for the little ones, so that might be a really cute one to just tell them congratulations. Kathy said she likes that Honeybee creates a base item and then does add-ons. I do too, because then it really helps you to get more of what you have. I'm gonna stand up and give it some good old Sherry Carroll CPR method. Um, just to make sure. And then I do like, if you guys watch my videos, you already know this to be true. I like to stamp mine twice. I stamp it 2 times, dose, because I like a bold black outline. Okay. So today it is a little bit overcast. It has been raining like the last 2-ish days, but it was sunny earlier and then it started sprinkling. I was like, well, look at you with your trickery, Mother Nature. So I do have to pay attention to that because my Molly, like she goes out, she does her business, she comes right back in because she's old and she's cranky and she wants a nap. She's a dog after my own heart. But Emma likes to be a sunflower. And so she likes to just be out there laying on the deck for hours and all kinds of stuff. So if it if it starts raining, I have to be like, is she in? Is she out? Is she in? Is she out? Because I'm never sure. All right. So I'm pretty happy with how this is looking. They're nice and bold and dark. So now I am going to do, because we did coloring with our Olos last time. Um, oh, Hockey, I totally understand the severe thunderstorm watch. Like, I totally hope it misses you. Um, but now I'm going to take my face off the screen so that we can be a bit more zoomed in on the coloring. So while I'm doing that, let's think about colors that we want to use. Oh, bless me. Okay, I am using Copics today because we used our Olos last time and we do try to give a good mix um, from, all the things that everybody likes to do. I think it kind of goes without saying that the truck would be red because it's, red, white, and blue. But we could do the truck red, white, or blue. Thank you for the thank you for the blessings. So I feel like I've colored it blue in the past. I'm pretty sure I've colored it red in the past. I don't believe I've ever colored it white. Um, What are our feelings on this? I'm gonna get a sip of coffee while we make a decision. So Brandon says red because I've done blue, and I have done blue. I did a blue for peanut butter. I don't think I've ever done it white. So maybe we'll do that. That'll be different. Okay. So your Pop's old pickup was light blue. Yeah, I did more like a dusty blue last time. All right, let me scoot. I'm gonna bump you, and I apologize because I got to scoot over this hole in my floor. Remember this hole in my floor? I just need to suck it up and get a new plastic mat. Okay, so when we're coloring things white, we're only adding the shadows. So I am going to pull out some cool grays. Oh, I think last time, didn't we? I think we did, didn't we? Let me lower this and put them up so that could help. Belinda, you call your 8-year-old granddaughter Peanut. I call my Peanut, who is my oldest, Peanut, because we waited to find out what we were having until he was born. So we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl. So we just referred to my belly as the little Peanut. And now I call him Peanut Butter, and I call Caitlin Jelly Bean. Okay. So that looks, I think, that looks okay. Tell me if that looks okay. Well, I gather I might have to fill some of these. I might have to refill some of them. We'll have to see. This cap feels loose. Okay. A C1, a C5, C7. Where's my C3? Oh, I used it for a picture. I used it for a picture. So it's over here. Okay. Now, I gotta look because all of our pieces parts. Okay. So hopefully, so we're going to use a C1, C3, C5, and C7. I will try to put the lids over here. I cannot make any promises. So we're going to do what I did before, and I'm going to do it the way that I used to do it. So I'm starting with a C1, and this is how we're going to find our shadows. Okay. So we're looking at our image, and this part sits back further because there is like this portion of the cab. So we're going to have a shadow right along here. So now this part sits back because of the tail, the bed of the truck, and then the tailgate. So we're going to add a shadow here. So we're pushing those layers back. Same thing with our rear fenders here. In these old school trucks, they sit out. So we're going to have a shadow here because we want to bring this forward. We want to bring this closer to us. And here where the bumper is. Same thing over here. Like that. So this appears to have like these two layers. I don't know what you call this. This is like these little parts that stick out are the bed, and this is the tailgate. So I'm going to add shadows here to indicate where the tailgate would actually close into the bed. And then here, this is inset. So this bumper is sticking out further than the tailgate. So we're going to have shadows here. And now, oh, Brandon said he was crafting on the floor. I have had to do that. It can be challenging to get back up when you're as old as we are. Okay. So the bumper is in two pieces. This larger part is sitting out further. So we want to cast the shadow on this part down here. Okay. And then this is our muffler and kind of like our undercarriage. So there will also be shadows here because this is underneath the truck and here where the muffler is. Same with the tires. The tires are under, so there'll be shadows there. So I think, is that everything? I think that's everything for now. Okay. So now that we have them all kind of outlined with the RC1 and we're confident about where we're putting our shadows, then we can switch to our darkest color and go from there. So funny story, Brandon was talking about being caught, like being stuck on the floor and you couldn't get out. If you guys were around, like back in the 70s and 80s, there was a real popular sectional. We called ours the pit. But there was a real popular sectional that was very soft and smushy and it, wheeled apart so you could take apart all the pieces and put them together in different combinations, like whatever suited your family. And we had one. It was brown. And eventually it ended up being our basement furniture that my sister and I used and hung out on. But we had this furniture when my mom was pregnant with my middle sister. And this was obviously back before cell phones or, probably honestly even cordless phones. Um, and she sat back on the couch when she was very, very pregnant with my sister. And then she could not, like her center of gravity was so off from her belly, she literally could not get up off the couch. She had to wait for my father to get home to help her because she was stuck. And having carried 2 babies, I can totally understand how that would have happened. Too squishy of a couch. Okay, so I'm not gonna use the C7 on this part because I don't want it to be pushed back as far as the fenders are. So I'm gonna skip this one. I am gonna put it down here because I want that to have some nice dimension. So I can already, like, I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but this marker needs to be refilled. Let me scrap piece of paper. Oh, this is from our Father's Day card. It's too bumpy. That's not gonna work. If I was a scrap of paper, um, here, what are you? There we go. Okay, so you can see how dry this is. So when you have a dry marker like this, many of us, and myself included, so definitely no judgment, um, I try to push past it because I don't want to have to stop and refill my marker. But this is what a full marker should look like. If you're dragging like this, you got to refill it. Fortunately, I have two, so I don't have to refill it just yet. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here with this one that's underneath. I am not going to add the darkest shading to that second part of the bumper. And I am going to add it here, and I'm going to be a bit more heavy-handed with it because this is under the vehicle. I'm going to go around this muffler and down by the wheels here. Okay. If the tips dry out, do they have to be replaced before refilling them? Um, so it depends. I just had to throw one out myself. Was that before or after we took the garbage out? Who knows? Does anybody know? I don't know. Let's go garbage picking and see if it's still in here. Can you hear all my crinkles? Thankfully, I don't throw away anything gross in here. It's all just paper. If this was actual trash, I would just not even bother. But I don't see it. So I just had to throw away a B93 because the tip was like rock hard. So there really isn't a way to bring them back from that. So if it's been like severely neglected and you might even have to replace the whole marker. That is what I did because it had been so long since there had been any alcohol ink in there at all. Even the core would have been dried out. So it can't absorb any liquid. So if you try to refill that marker, and I absolutely you can try, it's just pretty much going to run right out because there's nothing to absorb it. But something like this, where it's just dry from use, like no, the nib is still very pliant, so you can just refill it without having to change the nib. Okay, so I'm gonna wait to do these tires because they're going to be black. So let's do the C5 next. So as we've talked about before, we're going over what we've already put down to help those colors blend. The more moisture that's down, the easier it is for them to blend. And then we're going to start to kind of bring this up a little. And I'm going to add a very little line to the top here. Okay. Same thing here. We're going to go over them and then bring it up a little. I don't know if they're cheaper in Japan or not. I have seen some people like purchasing them when they're over there or when they're, they have friends or whatever that are over there. But I personally do not know if they're actually any cheaper. Okay. Here, I'm leaving some little rounded edges down here. And then I'm going to use the 5 as the darkest color for this one. So instead of using the 7, I think my light bulb just went out. Let's see if it can be revitalized. All right, so this is going to be here. And then this part is a little bit inset. So I am going to add some shading kind of around the corners and just extend those out. So that way we get some depth and dimension going on over there. Okay, now we're over here with the fenders, going over that C7. And again, just extending that out. Okay, here, same thing. And don't worry, you're not going to have the same amount of space in each section. Like sometimes you're going to have less space because, like here. So it's going to be darker regardless. You're not going to have a C1 down there because that would be way too light. So the majority of this I am filling in with the C5, and then I am going to use that as my shadow color for the muffler and for this bumper, this portion of the bumper, I should say. Not that you need to do this today, but can you do rust spots? Yeah, like an old pickup, like a old kind of beat up pickup truck. I could probably do that. Okay. So here again, we're going over what's there, extending it out. I'll never get to go. Oh, hockey, you have a problem with flying? I'm not great with any kind of travel, truthfully. Um, I have to I have to be medicated. Uh, no shame in my game though, because if long as I can get where I'm going with some assistance, I am a happy camper. It's better than not to be able to go at all. Okay, and again, we're just gonna fill that in. Get our little guys over here. Get our little guys over here. Going over these, extending out. Same thing over here. And we're also going to use this to add the first bits of shading to this portion of the bumper. So I'm doing it along the bottom and then kind of in from the sides, both sides, and then just a little bit at the bottom. If you do the old, could you do the green with red turquoise patina? I can try. So we're going to fill those in, fill that in, and then fill this part in. I should add a little bit of here to the plate too. What color are your guys' license plates? In Ohio, they are red, white, and blue. And now we're into the C1. Now remember, we're still coloring it white, so we do still want to leave white. So we're going to take this C1 and go over all of what we've already colored, including the dark parts, because this is going to be our lightest color. This is the part that we need to blend in. And just another note about the, we talked about refilling where you don't want to ruin your nibs. If you're not a kind of like a juicy filled marker, you're not going to be able to blend very well anyway. So it's like, it's worth the time to just stop and refill it, which speaking of, I think I'm going to have to do with this marker. Okay. Oh, I have two of these also, so let me see if the second one is full or not. The cool grays are by far my most used color. All right, let's try this and see. Yes, this one does seem to be full. Oh, look, the light bulb came back on. All right. Yeah, hockey, I can't do bridges either. Honestly, but the grace of God, because when my mom was in the hospital, this last time, it was in downtown Cleveland, and we have something called the Guardians Bridge. If you've not seen it before, you can look it up. Um, and I cannot. There is absolutely no way. Even just seeing a picture of it has me anxious. So driving over it was not going to happen. So I did thankfully find another way to be able to get down there to see mom, but it was pretty terrifying. But you know, she's my mother, so all right. So here, these two little dots here, I am going to just color in um with the C7. And you want to make sure that you wait to do this until after you've done your lightest colors, and you're not going to be going back in because you can smear it right across your thing. So Right now, I know it looks very dark, but we don't have it on a background. We don't have any other colors incorporated. So just hang tight. Trust the process. All right, so I'm going to use the C1 here to do a little bit on the mirrors. Just a little bit of color. Look up the Delaware Memorial Twin Bridges. If you get stuck in traffic, they bounce up and down and sway. Nope, 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 nope. Jesus would be calling me home. I cannot do it. I can't eat. I don't like it at all. Okay. So now, a couple of things. These, we're going to do the tires. And just like when we're coloring something white, we leave white in it. When you're coloring something black, you got to put the black in it. I know it's scary, but you have to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to look right. All right, so I'm going to keep using the cool grays for this. But I'm going to bring in a black 100 and a C9. So now remember, we already talked about where the shadows were going to go, right underneath here. But then also, we've talked about like how shadows lay down. So when you have two things that meet, like see how my fingers are meeting each other and it's darker in between the crevices, or where one lays on top of the other. Again, we have another shadow. So these tires down here are going to be meeting the ground. So there will be a shadow down there, down here. So our highlight, in order to not just match what it would look like normally up top and on the bottom, but also to give it a more round appearance, our highlight's going to be in the middle. Okay. So we're going to go in with our black. We can just do the lines to start, because it is scary. I know, but you got it. You can do it. Okay. So from there, I'm going to flick up a little, and I'm going to try. I'm going to turn that, 'cause I don't like flicking. But see how I'm going to try to like vary the lengths so we don't get that kind of wall of color. That wall, when they're all the same length, it makes it so challenging to blend your things. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the C9 right over the black, extend it out. If you feel like you can, do it the opposite way. Like for me, I like flicking away from myself. I'm much more comfortable. You can not turn it if you are more comfortable that way, but I usually flip it. I'm just being honest. And then the C7. Now, if I was viewing this tire from the side, I maybe would leave the white as just a highlight, but these are very clearly underneath the truck. We're looking at them underneath the bumper. So I'm going to use the C5 to just fill that in, and I'm just kind of going to go back and forth. So that way I'm going over those other colors, helping it to blend, but also not just bleaching everything out entirely. This does look like it needs a little bit more. Okay. So now we won't color the windows until we figure out what our background is going to be, because you would see through these if you were standing behind the truck, you would see through the windows. So the last thing that I'm going to do before I move on to coloring these is I am going to color the tail lights. Everybody has different red combinations that they like. You use whatever you would like. I have a mixed up kind of one. They don't belong in the same color family, but it is my favorite red combination, which is an R59 is my darkest color, R29 is my midtone, R35 is my lightest color. If I'm coloring something large, like if we had done the truck red, I also would have brought in an R32 as my lightest color. But since I'm just doing some taillights, the 3 is sufficient. So I'm going to do like a little half circle at the bottom with my darkest color. And you do, especially if you are coloring your truck white or a lighter color, you got to do that first before you put in the red. Because again, we'll have that little smearing problem if you don't. I'm going to flick over this R59 and then I'm going to take it around the top. So there's going to be like one little portion that is left white. Now, if you wanted a really strong highlight on your tail lights, you could leave it that way. I'm going to fill that in with the R35, and I will be adding in my highlights later with my white gel pen. So now we're done with this until we figure out if there's anything else we want to add, and then we're going to move on to this. So here is kind of a fun little trick that you can use if you don't have a lot of markers, or if you're still learning about your color combinations and you're not really sure. So you saw we just colored this whole thing with the cool grays. Okay, we're going to do that again. So this will make our lives easier. I know it seems a little bit weird, but that's okay. It will make our lives easier. All right, so where the flag is attached to the pole, right, we're going to have shadows. This is the C5. Okay, we're going over the whole thing. I know it looks wild, but trust the process. This is bent, so this is also going to have a little bit of shading coming this way to give it a little bit more round. Okay, same thing over here. I'm going to do a line, and then I'm going to flick this one not as far out because we don't have a lot of real estate here. Same thing over here. Want to make sure we're leaving lots of white space. And then here as well. Okay. So we're already looking more dimensional, right? I'm going to go in with my C7 and I'm going to just do a line right next to these sections so that they look further inset. I'm also going to do that right next to our little flagpole. Okay. Hockey did say to get the glossy accents out, and like, girl, don't you worry, I do. Why am I coloring on the back of my Misty? I'm coloring not, this is not how I normally color, Shannon, but it does raise up the picture because I can't zoom on StreamYard. So like if I put it down here, it's a little bit further away. It's easier for people to see if I lift it up. So that's why. Hi, Dawn. Okay. So now we're going to do the C3. And again, we're going over everything, extending it out. Still want to leave some white though. Don't forget about that. Okay. This is a really great way to practice getting comfortable with your shadows with different images without having to waste all of your ink. Like just use your gray markers. Okay. So now I'm going to go in with that C7 and I'm going to fill in this part back here. Okay. I'm going to leave it like that for now. Okay. Next, we're going to do the bow. Again, we're going to flick from the center out. This part is on the inside, so it's gonna be casting a shadow. I'm going to very, very lightly put in a little bit of a shadow color. If you're like, "Kelly, I can't be that light-handed," it's fine. Just skip that part. Do it with the C3 instead of the C5. Okay? And then we have our tails that are gathered there, so we're just gonna flick from there as well. Filling in that part, flicking down, filling in this little inside loop. And last, oh, Jenny, it's your first time catching a live. Well, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Okay. And again, we're just going to leave this like this. These little buntings these two are tucked underneath this one. So that I want to make sure I add shading there. And this is one of those ones where you want to follow the shape that is there to make it look like it is round. If you go straight across, it's not going to look like it's round. So we have to go in and follow the shape. Okay. Now, this one is on top of those, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to add any shadow at all. I'll probably just pull it. Yeah, probably there. Like I'll add a little bit of shadow, but I leave that gap still in those kind of rounded motions. So now this is the C3 going over, slightly extending out. Because remember, it's white. So now this time with this color, I can go all the way over and extend it out. Okay. And then on to the C1. So now all we have left is our balloons. It's getting a little, you know what, Anne? It's getting a little dark here too. I don't think it's raining yet. But it does look like it may be in my future. But thankfully both dogs are in the in the house, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay. So for the balloons, I've done several YouTube videos on how to color balloons. So if you're interested in that or interested in the transparency, more specifically color combinations, not using this trick. See, now I just said that. Now it started pouring. Oh, it is coming down. Okay. So now I like to, with balloons, I add a little bit of shadow to the bottom, and then I like to bring it up the sides. But see, there's a little, I'm going to raise it up here. See how there's like a little buffer section that I leave lighter. And that helps give them a little bit more of a more realistic look. And again, we're not adding a crazy bunch of stuff. So normally I would, when I was doing these in my colors, I would color them, I would color the entirety of it. But since I am not, I'm just going to do my best to add some shading here, leaving this one will have almost no C5. Okay. Same thing up here. And this is another one, just like the bunting, when you are doing the balloons, you got to do those rounded ones. Okay. Now on to C3. Lord have mercy. Okay, on to C3. Just going to extend that out. So this would actually be, this is not my intention for today, but doing something like this, like if you had, what's one of, I can't remember the name of it. Maybe Lisa knows. Like they have one of the sentiments that says like your vintage. Like you could do like one of these, almost like an old school black and white photo. And I think that would look really, really cool. Thank you all for the blessings. I need them. Okay. So now the C1, we're going over those, completing the circle, leaving that buffer circle around the edge and the center white. The reason we're leaving the center white is because that's going to be the lightest area. Okay. So if we left everything just chilling black and white, then this is what it would look like, just like this. You can tell just that shading gives it quite a bit, but this is a little trick that you can do if the majority of something is white and you don't have a lot of real estate, like with the stripes here and with the bunting here, it has the stripes, same thing with the tails. Like you have an opportunity to kind I don't want to say cheat because you did practice all of your shading. We just did it with the grays. So now we can go in and add the shading. I'm gonna start with blue, I think. Blue. I'm gonna go with a B. Should we do a true blue or a like okay, hold on, let me get my Coke. All right. So should we do like a true blue down here, like the B24s, 26, 29, or more of a like Tiffany-ish blue, like a B02, 4, and 6? What do we think? This is more of a true blue, I think, that you would see with like red, white, and blue, more of a navy. I think that's probably the one we should go with, but um one, okay, we got 3 votes for true and 2 for Tiffany. Let me see what I even got over here. All right, 24, 26, 20. Okay. All right, let's try this. I'm gonna go in with the 24. Look at that. Are you dry, sir? Do you need to be refilled? What did I do with my scrap paper? Did I throw it in the trash? That would not have been very smart of me. Because I'm always looking for scrap paper. Sorry, I'm bumping you around. Yes, I did throw it away. What is the matter with me today? Okay. Susan, the hex chart is so worth it. This is from Sandy Allnock. It's $5. And not only do you get a blank one so that you can do your own fill in, which is what mine is, but then she includes a filled in one. So you can see what colors you're missing and maybe what you might want to pick up. So this is, I look at it, says 2014 Sandy Allnock. I've been using this now for over 10 years and I still pull it out. Absolutely worth the $5. Um, and they have one for Olos too. They're so good. I remember when she was talking about doing them. Yeah, we need to refill this one. Let me double check the other two while I'm at it. That one is a little dry. You are good. You are nice and good. All right, so let's see if we can quickly refill those. What did I say? The 24 and the 26? Yeah, okay. Hi, Sharon. Okay. Yes, they do. Honeybee does carry Olos now, and you absolutely look for a sale because it's a great way to get those. All right. So I have not opened this before, and for those of you who are new, um, this is an old Copic refill. This is a new Copic refill. I much preferred these, but this is what we're stuck with. So I did move my project out of the way because I cannot be trusted to not get things all over the place when I am doing them. Okay, this is the 26. So you put like the little needle nose right down in there and then add the ink that way. And then I always just check to see, you can usually see this will start like glistening. It does look like it's getting darker, maybe just a couple little more. Okay, I'm gonna call it. How do you know when it's full? So the way that you should do it, um, is you should weigh them. That is the true way to do it because they have a measurement. Um, but I do not have time for all that. So usually I start with like 10 drops and then I check it and you'll see this, like I said, the nib down here will start to fill in. So I've done my 10. I've waited a couple of seconds. That white spot is still there. So I'm going to do another 10 and I will check and see. You do have to give it a minute to move through. So now I can see that it's good. Look, see, I just made a disaster. Don't worry, we'll clean that up too. Um, so now I can see that it's good. I'm happy with that. And oh, you know what? I will not be cleaning it up because my isopropyl alcohol is downstairs. Why? Because I'm having, according to my husband, a midlife crisis, and I am now the proud owner of 9 plants. I don't know how it happened. It just happened to me. It just happened. But you know what? I do have colorless blender. I can clean it up with that. Um, and so now that I have all of these plants and I have, what are they called? I have gnats. The gnats got to my plants. I feel like this is a Dr. Seuss story. Um, the gnats got to my plants. Anyway, so I have the isopropyl alcohol downstairs because when you spray the gnats with directly with the isopropyl alcohol, they die immediately. Honestly, very satisfying. Peanut and I spent a good portion of time the other day spraying a lot. And then I have to spray the soil with hydrogen peroxide and a water mixture um, because it has to kill the eggs. So anyway, that's I was fighting that, so I left my alcohol downstairs. That was my own fault. Okay, now we're back in the saddle again. Now I'm going to try the 24 first and see. And I'm going to do my best to kind of color around the stars. Because I do want them to stay white. the trick with the color glazing, which is what we're doing, right? We shaded everything with the grays and then we're going to go in and add color over top of it, is you cannot pick a color that is too dark that covers up your shading. I actually don't know what the weight is. Somebody in here just said um that they did weigh theirs. Maybe they could tell you how much it is. I don't weigh mine. So that's obviously the only part that's blue on the flag. Um, so I'm just gonna pick one stripe, the one on the outside, I guess. And then I will there is no stripes um in the bow. I'm just creating them. Okay. So that's that. For the bunting, we're just gonna pick sections. I think we're gonna do this thin section here. I do like that. But see where the areas that we left white are the true version of this color, so they automatically look brighter. How do I become a card designer for your company? Is this for Honeybee? I have a whole video on uh, design teams if you want to get on design teams, but that's a totally different thing. Okay, so we're gonna go red, blue, white, red, blue in here. Okay. And then this way, we don't have to mess around with a lot of other colors and trying to get into these really um, small areas. Um, so Honeybee, which is usually what I tell everybody about design teams, just when you're deciding that that's what you want to do, um, make sure that you're using their products. This goes for not just Honeybee, but any design team that you would be interested in getting on, making sure you're using their products, you're tagging them in your social media. Some do like somebody just said, oh, hockey just said like some have casting calls, some do, some do not, some are just invitation only. So, but just to be making with their things and be sharing what you're making. That is the best advice that I could give you. We're gonna do these blue. And then I think I'm gonna do this one back here blue. And again, I am just coloring around the stars because we did the shading first and it didn't matter if we went over top of the stars. Otherwise, can you imagine having to shade something like this with all of this little detail and you're trying to go around all of the stars? Like this is just a much simpler way to still get dimension. Now, if you're a person who doesn't use markers and you use colored pencils, it's not as challenging because those little tiny sharp things can just get right in there. Okay, so now we're gonna go to our red, and I am gonna use my lightest red, which is the R35. And oh, I should have looked it up, but I didn't look it up. What's the first one? Is it white or is it red? Somebody who was in the military, let me know. I'll have to go. Can I Google it? No, I can't Google it because we're using my phone. So let me. I'll do this one. 7 red, 6 white. But which one's on top, Brandon? Help me. Karen. Karen and Kathy. Red's on top. Thank you. I should have looked beforehand, but I didn't. All right. So now obviously we're just alternating. We're following the same pattern all the way across. And again, where we left those white area, look at that, I colored right next to it. Don't worry, we'll see if we can fix it. Stand by. Red's the worst color to make a mistake with too, so we're gonna see. Oh, we're raining again. All right, this is just a colorless blender. I'm gonna see if I can get in here and remove this red. So here's the trick with the colorless blender. You have to let it dry for a minute in between. You can't just go in there and keep bombarding it or you will cause it to spread more. And we obviously do not want that. So what I'm doing here, where you see me going side to side, I'm pushing it out to the edges. Brandon's cards are awesome. Yeah, you have been sharing. Well, he just joined the Honeybee team and he's been sharing quite a bit in the group, which is fantastic. But he does have an Instagram as well. All right, so that's not terrible. But I will have to go in a little bit and just replace the grays because that colorless blender does not care. It picks up everything. It picks up everything. In worst case scenario, like if you really could not get it up to where you were happy with it, you could just go in there with a white gel pen and add a little bit of a highlight in that section, and it would be helpful in kind of masking it. But I think, like, you can see it just a little bit, but I think it's okay. I think we're going to be able to get away with it. All right, so now back to what we were doing here. Get this one. I got to talk myself through it now so I don't make the mistake again. So I do think that we should be able to finish coloring these up today, but then doing the background and pulling them all together, I think we'll probably have to wait for next week. So there's our flag. Love this, loving this, lots of shading, happy with that. So now we can go back down here. It's all from Kelly's YouTube. What's from my YouTube, Brandon? Is there a video somebody's looking for? I color those. So now here we did the blue at the top. I'm going to skip a section to leave it white, and then I'm going to add a little red. So it's looking like it's red, white, and blue striped. Your growth and card scheme. Well, I appreciate that you enjoyed the videos, but your phenomenal cards and your growth is yours. That's your achievement because you're the one who took the time to put the time in and practice. And all of your cards are beautiful. I enjoy seeing them very much. And I'm glad that I could have a small part in that. That makes me very happy. That touches my heart. Okay, so we're going to do red here. Leave this white and red here. Okay. I have just, I don't know how many other people feel like this. You ever feel like you just don't even know what you're going to have to make for dinner? Like you be waking up in the morning thinking about what you're going to have to make for dinner, can never get away with it. You're always just making dinner. Your nails match the marker. Actually, my nails match this like peachy one almost. It's Cupid from ILNP. It's one of my new summer favorites. It's like a little corally pink. I don't know. I like it a lot. Okay. So now we have those done. We've got the red, white, and blue there. Thank you so much. Yeah, with the vintage truck, we actually talked about this before adding the coloring, like doing like a black and white photo with them. I think that would be so fun. Oh, you tell your kids all the time you can't wait until you're no longer responsible for dinner. I So Erica, HelloFresh is fantastic, and I would love to be able to do that. But I cannot because my children are children. I'm gonna leave this one white. I'm gonna do this one red. Red and white? Yeah, let's do red and white. Okay. And instead of doing the stripe red, I'll leave the stripe white. I kind of got out of the lines on that one. It's not great, but I'm not going to stress over it. Okay, and because this bottom section is red, then so will the part where it ties on. Okay. Mine are older, youngest is 16. He'll have a nightly dinner he's responsible for. You don't even have to wait. You don't even have to wait. My 12-year-old I tell him all the time, if he starts getting moody with his pickiness about dinner, I'm like, all right, buddy, then you pick a meal and you're responsible for making it this week. He also does his own laundry. Someday, my daughter-in-law is going to be like, thank you. And I will be happy to say you're welcome. So now I think I want to do this one red, or do I leave it white? I'm going to do this one red. No, I'm going to leave it right now because I still have to, I'm going to bring in the yellow. I want to do the stars yellow just as like another, I know it's very primary color, but I think that it will be a good something else to have in there. Um, so I'm going to do the stars yellow on here, not on the flag, obviously, but just as another little extra color to bring it in with the primaries, a little bit of brightness. So I'm going to leave the stars on the blue balloon white, like the flag, but I am going to color in these ones gold-ish. Okay. And so now the question becomes, do I make a yellow balloon? I'm not going to make a yellow balloon. I think it's just an accent color. I don't think we need to make a yellow balloon. So I'm going to do this one red and then I'm going to leave it alone. These are the conversations that I have with myself when I'm alone. All right. So that is that for now. Oh, I was going to do the pole as well. That's what else I was going to do yellow. But for this one, I am gonna, because I want it to be like a true, like golden yellow, I am gonna use more colors. Okay, so for this one, that's the wrong one. I have so much crap over here. Okay, here it is. Let me get them in order. All right, so we got a Y08, a YR24, and an E99. I'm gonna go in with the E99. Do that little comma at the bottom of the circle like we did for the taillights. Go over this, extend it out, fill it in with the yellow. Okay, now I think we're going to leave it at that. I think what I'm going to try to do, here, I'm going to let this sit here and I'm going to bring me back again. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm gonna use those fireworks, I think, because I think that'll be a fun technique for us to do. So I think if I use the fireworks that are included in the set, we can do like a night scene with the fireworks, and then maybe we could do a little glow on the truck or something. That would be fun. Like, I really think that we could do something fun with that because there's so many in here. And then we could do, I think that would be fun. I think that would be good. So you guys are looking right into my coffee, right into my coffee cup. Um, so yeah, I think that's what we'll do next week, and I think that'll be a ton of fun. While Lisa is picking a winner, because I rely on her to do so, but she's fantastic. If she's still in here, if she's not, I'll do one in momentarily. But also, if there's anything that you would like to see for the Monday, oh, we didn't do our sneak peek. Lord have mercy. Where is it? Where did I put it? I put it together and then I put it to the side. All right. I didn't make anything yet. I'm just going to show you the thing. Are you ready? Okay. You should be able to tell what it is right away. I am very excited for it because you know I love a scene. Not to make one, just to watch them. So here's our sneak peek. Can you tell what it is? This is going to be so much fun to color. So this is, I'm going to give you a few more seconds to tell me if you can tell what it is. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun. It is a campfire. It's a fire pit. So it's a Lovely Layers fire pit. Isn't that so much fun? So then we'll just all snack them up, and it has these cute little marshmallows and sticks, and it's got the flames and like all the little wood. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun to put into scenes. So, and then, yeah, like obviously during the summer, but like for fall cards, this will be great. So I'm very, very excited about that. Okay, so Lisa, I think she picked one. Let me put it on there. Here it is. Okay, Marcy, congratulations. Please make sure you reach out to the wonderful Betsy over at customer care. Let me put up the little banner so that you can see. There it is, customer care at honeybeestamps.com. So send her a little email so that she can give you your gift certificate, and then you can do what you want to do, but I would hang on to it until because the release is just it's almost just over a week a day, like a week away, like 10 days. The 27th. The 27th will be together in the evenings instead of in the day. And we will be looking at all of the wonderful things that are being released. So we have had a couple of different sneaks. This is the one that we did with the premiere. So if you haven't caught that video yet, that one's also available. But yeah, super exciting. So now I will set this aside. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I might die cut them because you know that if we end up doing the fireworks thing, it's going to take us a minute to do so. So I might die cut them out beforehand. But other than that, I will wait to get the technique together. So I'm very excited. And okay, so I think that's it. So we got our winner and we're all good. All right. I think we did pretty good today. I think we got a lot accomplished. I'm proud of us. Okay. So thank you guys so much for joining me as always. I really appreciate you coming and spending your time with me. I know your time is precious. And I will see you guys either at the Monday premiere in a little chit chat or next Wednesday, same time, 1 p.m. Eastern. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good rest of your week.